Welcome to the regularly scheduled mayor and council meeting for the town of Berlin. It's Tuesday, May 28, 2024. Before we do the moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance, I just want to say for anyone who may have some technical issues due to the internet coverage in Berlin, I think it's a town-wide issue, but we're experiencing that here in the council chambers as well. So the live stream may or may not be interrupted. If it is, we'll try to bring that back on as quickly as possible.
It just went out.
All right, so please join me for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Up first is our approval of the consent agenda.
So I have a question on the regular session minutes.
Go ahead.
Under council comments, specifically mine, this states that I am concerned that the Berlin Beer Company no longer has parking availability. The concern was that Traction Yaks no longer has parking availability.
Okay.
So that's correct.
So the motion to do with the correction.
Yes.
Do you want to make that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we correct my comments to express that it was Traction Yaks that no longer has parking availability. Second.
So the motion to approve the consent agenda is made by Councilmember Nerd, seconded by Councilmember Orris. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Let the record reflect that the vote is unanimous with Councilmember Nichols absent. Oh, and the correction. Yes, thank you.
I'd still like to get an answer.
So, do you want to clarify
Right now? No.
Not right this moment. So then, we do have an agenda item that is not on, and that is proclamation for Pride Month. I apologize for not getting that on the agenda, but we do have it with us this evening, and it'll be in the minutes. So it's proclamation 2024-08, whereas the town of Berlin supports the rights of every citizen to experience equality and freedom from discrimination, and believes that all people, regardless of age, gender, identity, race, color, religion, marital status, national origin, sexual orientation, or physical challenges, should have the right to be treated on the basis of their intrinsic value as human beings. And whereas the town of Berlin accepts and welcomes people of diverse backgrounds and believes that the diverse population leads to a more vibrant community, the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual LGBTQIA communities contribute to the cultural, civic, and economic successes of the town of Berlin. While we, as a society at large, are slowly embracing new definitions of sexuality and gender, we must also acknowledge that the need for education and awareness remains vital to end discrimination and prejudice. And whereas celebrating Pride Month influences awareness and provides support and advocacy for the town of Berlin's LGBTQIA community, and is an opportunity to strengthen alliances, build acceptance, and advance equal rights. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Zach Tindall of the town of Berlin, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2024 as our municipality's observance of Pride Month. Be it further resolved that the rainbow flags will be raised on the front of Town Hall from June 1st, 2024 until June 30th, 2024 in recognition of all LGBTQIA citizens whose influential and lasting contributions to our neighborhoods make the town of Berlin a vibrant community in which to live, work, and visit. And then it says, witness the hand and seal of the town of Berlin. So thank you for that, and we will have this, it was requested by Saltwater Media last year, so we'll make sure that they get a copy of the proclamation as well. All right, up next is agenda item number 2, and that is the 2A is the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG S fiscal year 2025 application, citizen participation, public hearing, and authorizing resolution 2024-01. That is myself, Mayor Zach Tindall, and the Mayor's Executive Assistant, Sarah Gorfinkel, running point. Before we open the public hearings, this one is a bit more of a formal process. So we'll be opening the public hearing for the purposes of citizen participation in the CDBG application process, and public input is welcome and encouraged. With that, I will turn it over, well, do I open the public hearing and then turn it over to Sarah?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'll open the public hearing, and then we'll turn it over to Sarah Gorfinkel, Executive Assistant to the Mayor's Office.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm going to ask you to excuse my back. I'm going to actually turn around and address the public directly. There we go. Good evening. Okay. Let me know if you have any problem hearing me. Good? Okay. The purpose of the citizen participation public hearing is to review and to obtain citizen input for a proposed community development block grant application for the state fiscal year 25. We're going to go over, which Kate's help, the summary of past uses of funds, past block grant funds that the town of Berlin have received are over $3 million, 94% of which goes to has gone in the past to public facilities, and you can see a list here of other ways that it's been spent. And overall, the fiscal year 25 community development block grant funding available from federal funds for the state of Maryland for this fiscal year is $8,165,077. And there we have in our paperwork and up here on the slide the overall allocation of how the money is divided up around the state of Maryland on special projects, community development, technical assistance, state administration, and flood relief for homeowners. The objectives, national objectives and eligible activities. The Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 require that any project funded with community development block grant funds must meet a national objective, and the activities must be eligible. There are 3 national objectives. One is to benefit persons of low and moderate income. That's LMI. Number 2 would be the prevention or elimination of slum and blight. And number 3 is to meet an urgent need that is an immediate threat to community health, safety, or welfare. And then, though discussed below, additional information about meeting national objectives can be found in a section in the CDBG information available online, income determination and qualification. Regarding the Berlin Community Center, we are seeking to meet the national objective of benefit to low and moderate income persons through limited clientele activities for projects that benefit LMI persons that are presumed to be low and moderate income or are qualified based on data about family size and income. And examples of that are Head Start or renovations of Head Start centers in which the Berlin Community Center will fit very nicely, I believe. The current planned use of our application is $500,000 for the Community Development Block Grant that would assist the town of Berlin in demolishing the current structures that are standing on the land and prepare the site for future building. The community center will continue to support the current tenant, Shore Up, which runs Head Start early childhood education. The current Head Start building is located at 130 Flower Street. Berlin Head Start Center is a joint Head Start and early Head Start facility. The community center will incorporate after-school and summer programs run by Worcester Youth and Family Counseling Services, a nonprofit currently serving the low and moderate income population with free summer camp, which is currently funded by the town of Berlin, and will have various meeting rooms and community spaces, computer labs, a playground, and open spaces for families, sports courts, and active recreational use. Overall, we have a budget estimated for the way that we would be spending the community development block grant funding, adding up to $500,000, includes environmental assessments and remediations, that could be for lead and asbestos, demolition of the 4 current existing buildings, preliminary site work, architectural and engineering preliminary design, architectural and engineering project management, and then an additional $300,000 contributed by the town of Berlin, which we already have budget for, and then that would create a project total in this phase of $800,000. Citizens who are interested in commenting on any project discussed during the public hearing can do so at this time, this evening, or can submit written comment to Mayor Zach at berlinmd.gov. Our phone number is on there as well, and I would just ask that we have all written comments received by the close of business on June 5th because I want to get our application in on time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for your work on the grant. Greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Let's see, and then now we'll open that up for public comment. So anybody that would like to come and address the mayor and council, are they addressing us or are they addressing?
They are speaking on behalf of the application.
Okay, anybody that would like to speak on behalf of the application may approach and say your name and street name or name and entity of which you're representing.
Or for that matter, speaking.
Or why you wouldn't
Either
support
way.
it. Or against.
Yes.
Yes. We know each other, but just name and
Yes.
entity that you
Just do that,
represent.
for sure. Good evening. I'm Dr. Jennifer Labore, Executive Director of Worcester Youth and Family Counseling Services. This is Kayla Figueroa. I'm the Director of Worcester Connects, the Youth Mentoring Program. Yes, and we are very excited about the possibility of a Berlin Community Center. As you've already heard, we have youth programs through Worcester Youth and Family, one of which is the Berlin Youth Club. And through this club, we offer a free summer camp to residents in Berlin who qualify financially. They struggle in some way, shape, or form, so the camp is free. We offer free transportation to and from the camp. And it has grown tremendously over the years, and we are not able to host it at our Main Street office any longer, and we've relocated, and it's hosted at the Buckingham Presbyterian Church. So the idea of a community center that has recreational facilities and possibly a swimming pool, all of these things would be amazing. The other piece, Kayla runs our mentoring program, and during the fall and winter months when we don't have the summer camp up and running, Kayla offers various groups through the mentor program, and the students from the BYC, the Berlin Youth Club, attend those groups as well. There's a lot of different enrichment activities, there's group mentoring worked into that, so it would be a great opportunity again to host groups after school or on the weekends during the school year when summer camp is not in session. So we're very supportive of this project.
Thank you. And anything else you'd like to add?
I know with this space, a lot of our families will feel like more comfortable just with the area, having something local, having access to like the computer lab and things of that sort. It'll just allow us to do a lot more with our students.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Is there anyone else that would like to address the application for or against? Just come forward, name and street name if you don't mind.
Hi, I'm Mary Hidleski, Westminster Drive. I'm also on the board of We Heart Berlin, and we just want to thank you guys. We think it's awesome. This is going to be so great for the community. Just everything it's going to have to offer, and anything we can do to help, please let us know. And thank you guys for doing it. And Sarah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I see some other faces in the crowd. None of you want to come up and talk? All right, there we are. Perfect. The lady that got it all started.
Good afternoon.
And we'll address you, Commissioner Brunel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd really like to take this opportunity to really thank Berlin and the council for just plunging ahead to start this project and to work towards a total community. A lot of times our kids have not had the available items that are needed to do the things they need to do. And we are just so happy. The program is out there. Sarah is going after gangbusters, and we just thank her for putting forth that effort. It is a needed effort. It begins to make Berlin whole in a lot of areas. Not only hosting different situations, but the possibility of being able to host a lot of nonprofits, all right? Also, host our heritage, our history, you'd be surprised what one major project can do for a community and a town, because we have a lot of history that needs to be put before the community. So I just want to thank you. Sarah's put in a lot of hard work. It's not easy, but we've been able to, if we can help at the county, Sarah knows that we were right there to do what we need to do. The county has already sent their letter of support in, and we'll continue to work towards this project. We want to see it come to fruition and worthwhile for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you,
And-
Mr. Perner.
And we thanked you before through Gabe. I hope he passed along the message at the last meeting, but we're very appreciative of you connecting Sarah with Ms. Washington and putting this on the radar. So thank you so much, Commissioner.
You're quite welcome. Are you going to be on that trip when they come back?
I am. And we're going to chat this up. So, thank you. Anyone else that would like to address the mayor and council? Well, address the application, sorry, I'm so used to saying.
I guess if I don't say something.
Now, you might need to introduce yourself, I don't think we've ever met.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I guess I had to. I'm taking it from a different aspect. The fact that this has been a multi-purpose, those grounds has been a real challenge over the years to us, ones that are growing old, trying to carry the banner. The fact that Berlin stepped up to the plate came, I would say, to rescue the community from actually losing, what I think was a real gem, the building and the grounds. We came close to doing that. But Berlin said, Mayor, you did a great job in saving us.
It's a team.
Yeah. And I'd like to say that this, you've been talking about a One Berlin. This truly brings the community more together. And when you invest in your community, especially the minority communities, you don't know how much that enhances the attitudes of the people that live in those communities. When you look at it, the east side is really, there's virtually no crime over there. And that's because I believe the way this town is moving, as we can live together as one and respect each other. So I just want to encourage you to keep on. The only real beef I got right now is with the planning commission.
And Gabe, thank you. That is the photo courtesy of Gabe, so, the old Flower Street School, so we really appreciate that. We'll let you handle the planning commission on your own. Anyone else that would like to address the application for again? Thank you, DJ. I was trying to coach you out there, but.
My name's DJ Lockwood. I'm the current DCIA president. And I'm so overwhelmed right now because we started this, I think, in 2018. It was kind of before he was mayor. We actually talked about it. So this has been like a lot of work. And to get to this point is like incredible to see this much support. So I hope we can keep pushing forward and just don't let it stop with, demolishing the building and looking at grounds for, forever. So we need to keep pushing forward, keep trying to get whatever funding that we possibly can get. Because like Dave said, this would really change the east side of Berlin. So that's it.
Sarah knows each time, because we submitted for an earmark as well, for similar funding requests, and that's a much slower process, and she knows, like, each time we were on with both senators' teams, I was like, there's so much energy around the project, there's so much movement taking place, we don't want to stall that. So that's when this, thank you, Commissioner, for bringing this up as well.
I got nervous with COVID. right? Because we had a lot of energy right before COVID. And it was like, oh my God, we have to build this energy back up again. But I personally didn't know we had this much energy and this much momentum. So I feel like I can just sit back and just watch it roll.
No. You're gonna roll your sleeves up. We got some more work to do, DJ. Thank you.
This is just phase one.
Anyone else that would like to address the grant application? His name and street name, if you don't mind.
James Smith. I don't feel like sitting there, but I just appreciate each and every one of you guys. That this is a big project and Berlin deserves it. Teamwork making the dream work. And I'm with the grills and the playhouses in the bathroom. But I thank Chief Galvin. Yesterday was beautiful.
It was fabulous.
It was amazing.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Each and every one of you.
Anyone else that would like to address the grant application for or against?
I just have a few more things I wanted to add. I'll make sure people are aware of this before you discuss it amongst yourselves. I would just say that we have had really fantastic responses. I asked about 15 different organizations, schools, nonprofits, people in the community. I asked first elected officials, all the usual letters of support, and then I was encouraged by the staff at the Community Development Block Grant, at their office to reach out to the community. So really, we were very lucky yesterday to be able to pass around a petition at the Memorial Day Parade, and we received over 50 signatures from people who live on Flower Street, right, residents who are right there and who will be able to benefit the most from the community center. So we are going to be including that in our application. I also wanted to just point out, we have some of the pictures up on for everyone to see, but I have hard copies of them here as well. We're very lucky that Councilmember Nur has a really cool drone and took some really amazing pictures for us. And the original Flower Street School, I think I didn't state it in the formal application part that I read to you all tonight, but we all know that one of the most amazing things is that the history of the Flower Street School is going to really come back to life and be able to really be an anchor for the community the way that it once was and the way that it will be again, tying everyone together. And I think that's come through in all of the letters of support that we've received. So we have a picture here of the original Flower Street School, and then I was really struck when Councilmember Nur and I were there taking pictures, how when you walk into the Head Start classrooms now, there's already a picture of the Flower Street School right there when they walk in. So the kids are already aware of where they are and where they will be when the community center is rebuilt for them. And our focus really on the CDBG funding is around the Head Start program and the Worcester County Youth and Family programs, because they do so much to support the low and moderate income families in our community. Wanted to say all of that, and I also wanted to say I will have that full application, which is still in draft form, available for everyone's review for the next 5 days downstairs.
Sarah, I just have a question for Sarah, and I know this is preliminary. When it comes time to demo the shore up buildings and multi-purpose buildings, is there a plan that has been started to set up a temporary facility for shore up?
Yes, Dr. Bowen and I have been in touch with each other about coming up with some ideas about possibly moving the current students to their location in Snow Hill, and then some of the funding that would not be CDBG funding, but additional funding, different pots of funding would be used to help with the transportation and the temporary housing, primarily a kitchen, to make sure that they have the kitchen up and running.
I just don't want people worried.
Right.
It's going to disappear one day.
And just to know, by housing, she means housing for the
children,
classes.
Right.
Not actual housing.
Facilities.
Housing is a
Facilities.
very specific meaning with
Yes,
preference.
you're right.
So, Sarah, sorry.
Let's open it up maybe
go.
for the discussion part right now, and then you stay right there. That way you can answer any
Okay.
questions. So we'll close the public hearing portion. Okay. I looked at Mary because she's driven this bus a couple times.
Yeah.
And so the public hearing is now closed, and now we can open up for discussion.
Okay, so I just had two questions for great work on this. Awesome. Excuse me. how does this group know that we had this public hearing, what was said? Will you give like a summary?
Yes, it's required in the application to include the minutes from tonight, which is why it was so important that people who had anything to say about the community center had this opportunity to come tonight during a public hearing. We will include both the notice of it, which was put out in advance, and then also the minutes from tonight.
So then will we be able to approve those minutes at the next meeting? That's still in time.
Depending
How
on
is
the
that?
timing, the
I don't
intent is
think
for Sarah to
approve
send
the
the
public.
application before that date, so the minutes will be sent as unapproved.
Okay.
The only thing that might change is if the portion of the minutes that pertain to this hearing changes, then they'll be notified of that change.
I was just want to make sure that that's.
It all comes down to timing.
Sure. And then I was just curious, it sounds like it, but I wanted to verify, did Worcester Youth and Family have an opportunity to draft a letter of support?
They did.
They did, okay.
They did.
The only folks that we couldn't get letters of support from, which we actually figured this out, I didn't know that until Sarah had asked, both federal senators could not draft letters of support for a state level funding request. So.
But we have from all of our local delegates, Senator Carosa. I have the whole list here.
Go ahead and read it, actually. If you
want me to
don't mind. Well, just read through the list of folks that I think they went through the work. Let's
Yeah,
give them the acknowledgement.
absolutely. So, of course, Shore Up and Head Start, Worcester Youth and Family, our Maryland Senator Carosa, Delegate Charles Otto, Delegate Wayne Hartman, the Worcester County Commissioners, MDOT Secretary Paul Wiedefeld, Berlin Police Department Chief of Police Arnold Downing, Atlantic General Hospital, Beacon, which worked on our strategic plan and had some really great insight about how the community center fits in with our current strategic plan. Buckingham Elementary School, Berlin Intermediate School, We Heart Berlin, Germantown School and Community Center, Berlin Community Improvement Association, the community support petition that I already mentioned, and we have one outstanding from St. Paul's United Methodist.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will say before Sarah leaves and we move to the adoption portion, each time I feel like with the CDBG grant, we were like, let's go. You had a great meeting. Where did you have
I
to
went
go again?
Crownsville
And
for training.
a hike. And thank you to Commissioner Purnell for arranging transportation for Sarah with Miss Washington. But each time we were excited about the application and then, oh, we might not fit. All right, we're excited again. Oh, no, we might not qualify. And the CDBG folks have been great. The county's been a great resource. You've been tenacious in the application, very phenomenal with your expertise as well, even though we had to dust some of it off a little bit from your previous applications. But not much has changed really, has it?
No. Surprisingly.
You were having a similar public hearing exactly 10 years ago at this meeting,
That's
10
right.
years
Really?
ago
We
to
found
the
that
day
date, yes.
That's cool.
on the CDB, the last time you were asking the CDBG grant application.
And then the whole awkward process of spinning around and putting your back to the mayor
Yeah.
council, it's like, I mean, it's been a process.
It has
It's
been
a lot of fun.
a
and we
really great
appreciate
process
it.
for me. Thank you.
And we appreciate all the community support, so, thank you. Now let's adopt the resolution.
Before we do that, I just want to say that this project is a brilliant and needed project. And I just want to thank the partners that have come together to facilitate this endeavor. BCIA, Shore Up Head Start, the town of Berlin. Not to mention the general public of the town of Berlin. It was a really big endeavor for BCIA to have the fortitude to be able to turn the property over to the town of Berlin to facilitate this endeavor. That was a big step. I just want to thank Commissioner Purnell and the support she has given this project personally and through her position as Worcester County Commissioner. The citizens of the town of Berlin that have grasped this concept and this project of a community coming together, working together in this plan, I think is a great thing. And it just shows what we here at the town of Berlin, what we're made of. We're made of good stuff that expects good things and only expect the best from our citizens and our representatives that's sitting on this dais. I just want to say thank you. I am so pleased that this project has taken hold. One of the concerns early on with the community was that, is this really going to happen? Is the town really going to be able to facilitate this endeavor? And I said to you publicly, yes, this is going to happen as long as we keep our eyes on the process. Thank you so very much. I move that resolution 24-01 be adopted.
Second. So I have a motion by Vice President Burrell, a second by Councilmember Orris. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that the vote's unanimous. Thank you. Councilmember.
So Mayor, actually I have a question that has nothing to do with that, but it's in here.
Great.
I'm just curious, I know it's statewide, but flood relief for homeowners initiative.
You're in the CDBG.
Yeah, still at the
Give me the page number if you don't mind.
Page 12 of 24. And what I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the community center. This is the state of Maryland federal funding 24 allocation. So the state got 12%, which is $1 million for flood relief for homeowners initiative. But what do we know what that is? I'm just curious.
No, but we can look into it a little bit more, but I don't know what that is. Mary, Sarah?
No, I don't.
I'm just curious what that is.
We'll take a look and follow up. Thank you. All right, up next is public hearing on ordinance 2024-04, and that is our FY25 budget adoption. This was introduced on Monday, May 13th, 2024. I think we've talked extensively about the budget. I'm not going to give another summary update, but we'll open it up for public hearing on our budget, 2024-04. Anyone that would like to address the mayor and council? The budget begins on page 17 or 18 of the packet.
Good evening, Mayor Council.
There you go.
Dave Fitzgerald, President of Berlin Fire Company. I'll speak just to the emergency medical services. Just, again, we appreciate the increase, but we just want to make sure it's on public record that the current budget amount, there's nothing in the packet that starts on page 54. So I have to make the assumption that there's been a change since the $475,000, so I don't speak out of turn.
No, so hold on one second. So the budget includes hold on, let's get to it actually. Regarding, it's under administration.
Yeah, the handout is what I start until the street starts.
So we're looking down administration, and it's actually on page
7 of the budget.
7 of the budget 24.
Thank you. And we have EMS operating 484, which is an increase of $80,000.
Okay. So just again to put on the public record, we appreciate the increase to the $484,000. It's greatly appreciated. But however, that still does not meet all the operational needs of EMS. We don't have to rehash the budget work session, but I just want to put it on record that we appreciate the increase. However, it does not meet the proposal that was submitted for the full year. Thanks.
So now with that, I don't mean to put you on the spot, is that with our contract agreement when we talk, are we looking at any issues with the signed contract for EMS?
We haven't gotten anything back from you all, any comments back from you all yet. I think Joe Moore was gonna send an email to Dave Gaskell either today
Did
or
you
tomorrow.
get, okay, so did you get the, what was the last email that Gaskell had sent regarding the change? The only change we had was
It was a meeting. that
Yeah,
changed.
the only change was.
And we did reply to that, but there's been no correspondence in reference to the financial part.
Okay, and then just, I know today an email went out about our quarterly meeting, are you planning?
And I've not seen that because I've been out of town today. I came straight back, fire siren went off, I went to the firehouse. Really going very quickly.
In that email, it's a request to have the conversation and then hopefully execute those agreements next week.
Did see that email? Been out of town today.
It's okay, I just wanted to make sure we were aware.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. All right, anyone else that would like to address the mayor and council regarding ordinance 2024-04, the FY25 budget? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing on the budget and open it up for council discussion.
I just want to say that I think that this is really solid. No tax increase for the fire side, employee step and grade. I believe everything that was requested and needed is fulfilled. And I just think that it was a good job with the staff level, finance, and the department heads working on their budget, presenting it to the mayor, presenting it to us for discussion. I think it's pretty solid and a good look for FY25. And thank everybody.
It's been a good team effort. I said this to Natalie, I think this was our best budget yet, and she said, it's been one of the harder ones. I'm like, maybe for you, but this has been really good for us. So we appreciate the hard work that the finance team does, but this has been, I think, one of our better budget years. So.
Yes, I just want to chime in on the budget too. I think, when I think of these budgets, I think I had an old college lacrosse coach that said, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. And I think that's kind of how I approach these budgets. There's no perfect budget, in a private business. It's usually the expenditure side is the problem side, not the revenues. But I think we have done a lot of great things. I think Councilman Morris, raised some good points there. I think that, I came into this seat thinking that the way to go with the town of Berlin was incremental tax increases. And mainly driven by the fact that I didn't want to see us to the point where we were 5 years ago when there was a massive tax increase that upset the town citizens across the board. So I think that this year my issue with the incremental tax increase was just that, at the constant rate, we were able to increase property tax revenues by $300,000. And that was one thing I just couldn't get past. And then number two was the point that, we did put the employees first. I'm really proud of us for that. I think that, I've heard from several employees about that fact. And I think, this putting on the step and grade system, and then the COLA increase, the one-time payment increase, I think we have done a great job for our employees. And I had a really conscious decision that I didn't want to support an increased tax this particular year because of that fact. I didn't want it to be looked at as the increased taxes because of our desires to help our employees. So that was really kind of where I was with it. And I think that in that budget, our citizens really look at the budget. I mean, there are so many great things in this budget. Every budget should include reinvestments. This budget includes a lot of reinvestment in my mind. We have a lot of multiple street paving projects, massive reinvestments of tax dollars. And I do believe glad that we were able to increase the EMS and support the fire company at higher levels. Also the additional positions for the finance department and the planning department. There are several studies and evaluations in this budget that I think will also help the town, such as the impact fee study, and also trying to tackle design guidelines, comprehensive plan. The county appears to be adhering, or at least hopefully meeting our request for additional funding, which was good of us to ask for the additional funding. I think hopefully we're going to see that next week approved. It made it through the work session, so we're optimistic that will continue. Again, there's capital expenditure as well for our vehicles. So I think it's a very well-rounded budget. And I do, April is a chaotic month for all of us, I'd say. But I think it's the due diligence that we all need to do at this level. So, I support the budget entirely. I'll make a motion, but I wouldn't want to leave it for any of my other colleagues who make any
I
comments.
just want to say one thing. One of the things I thought was most helpful or useful in terms of getting this budget to where it is today are the individual department head meetings we had. And that was a time where we had a small group, the mayor, staff. I participated in those meetings. It was the time to really dial down on the individual departments and address their needs, their wants, their requests for additional staff, those kind of things. So it really helped bring the budget into focus. So for me, that was very, very helpful. And I appreciate it being part of it.
I think the only part with that, I think what we can do better next year is maybe producing some minutes a little bit more for the other members that can attend. But I think that, to your point, those really do help. Yes. Vice President?
For me, this budget touched a lot of our goals for funding. And I'm especially pleased with how we started the budget. We started it with trying to look out for those folks that provide these day-to-day services for the citizens of the town of Berlin. We started with our staff. We started with our staff, and I am so pleased that we took that initiative this year to look out for our staff first, and then we build the budget. But we will know how good this budget actually is about this time next year. This time next year, we will be able to evaluate what we've done. But I can say that how this budget was facilitated was really good this year. The input of the department heads and their staff, the input of the town administration and Mary's leadership and Natalie and those folks that know these numbers and are able to provide us with good information. I'm just pleased, and just like the council has expressed, I too support this budget.
Steve, you ready?
Motion to approve ordinance 2024-04.
Second. Fourth. Motion by Councilmember Green and a second by Councilmember Nerb, Burrell, and Orange. So all in favor say aye. All opposed, let the record reflect that the vote's unanimous with Councilmember Nichols absent. Thank you all.
Can I just thank you all? Yeah, say on behalf of the staff, I know we've had a lot of comments made. I've had a lot of comments made to me that people are very appreciative of what you guys have done this year. So thank you, because I know you guys are not in an easy position up there to make these decisions. So thank you all very much for your support this year.
From my department also.
Yep.
Thank you all very much.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the round of applause.
Up next, item number 3, items for approval. 3A, public comments accepted before each one of these items are approved. Motion 2024-27, a special event permit from the Joint Family Reunion at Stephen Decatur Park on Saturday, July 20th, 2024. And this is the event coordinator, Ronald Joins. Do we have Ronald with us?
I'm his daughter.
Okay, and am I saying your name correctly? Is it Joins?
Yes, Joins.
Joins, perfect, I like that. Come forward and just tell us a little bit about the event, and then hopefully we can get this approved for you.
Hi. Each year we do a Joins Family Reunion. It's a group, it's a original group of 15 siblings. The oldest one was my great aunt who actually helped raise me. She was born in 1907. So she died when I was 17. So each year, a person from one of the sibling groups is responsible, and it has made its way to our group. We are one of the only groups that are still residing on the Eastern Shore. We're from Virginia. We normally do hold it at Shed Landing, but this year my father wanted to come to Berlin because most of our family is in Philadelphia. They've been in the area. My dad loves Berlin, and he loves the area, and he wanted to change it up a little bit for this one.
Thank you so much. We'll open it up for discussion. Well, we'll open it up for public comment first and then discussion. Anyone wishing to address the mayor and council regarding motion 2024-27? Okay, we'll open it up for council comment and discussion.
What's your name?
Jacola Joy Sturgis.
The only question I had concerning this event, it talks about wants to supply beer. What is that about?
So they're going to have crabs. So each year they normally have a large spread of seafood as well as the barbecuing. And my dad doesn't drink, most of them don't drink, but there are a few that like to have a Corona with their crabs, I suppose. So it's not going to be a large amount at all. I've been going to the family reunion since I was I can remember. And we always have it, usually at Shed Landing or in Philadelphia. They have small amounts, but it's not going to be for a large consumption at all, mainly for when they're eating the crabs.
We don't allow.
I was just going to, I
Oh,
apologize for
what was
not
that?
having caught this earlier, but alcohol is prohibited in parks.
We don't allow the consumption of alcohol in our parks. So the Corona with the crabs cannot be.
Okay, that's fine. I was only told to come because of that portion of it. So we had to reschedule. My father actually had a heart attack 2 weeks ago. So that's why I'm the one that's here now as the event coordinator. But most of us don't drink. But I believe it was told to him when he went that we were supposed to come here because of that reason. But I can definitely let the family know that.
Are you willing to amend the application to include no alcohol?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I'm sorry to hear about your father. I hope
Thank
he's doing
you.
okay.
Yes, thank you.
If there's no other discussion, I'll make a motion that we approve 2024-27, the Joins Family Reunion at Stephen and Karen Park, pending the resubmittal of the no alcohol.
We don't need to resubmit it, we can just make the decision.
Okay, then approve that with no alcohol.
Sir.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Orris, a second by Vice President Burrell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that the vote's unanimous with Councilmember Nichols absent. So thank you so much. And there's no need to resubmit. It'll just be approved with no alcohol.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, up next is agenda item 3B, motion 2024-29, special event permit for back-to-school supplies giveaway at Henry Park on August 10th, 2024, and the event coordinator is
Reed Tall.
Thank you. What is it?
Reed
Tall.
Tall.
Thank you. Reed Tall. Thank you. And just tell us a little bit about the event, and then we'll hopefully get this approved for you as well.
Yes, I gave you all August 3rd and also August the 10th. I may use one as a rain date. Hopefully we won't have any bad weather. But I'm originally from Berlin. My family is from Berlin. So I would like to come back to my community and give a back-to-school event, back-to-school giveaway, backpack supplies, school supplies for all different ages.
So thank you. Would you like to make your primary date the 3rd and the rain date the 10th?
Yes, that would be fine.
Okay. And then we'll open it up for any public comment regarding motion 2024-29. Seeing none. Seeing none.
What's the date?
So August 3rd and 10th.
National Night Out is August the first Tuesday, the 6th. No, it's not.
Okay, we're good?
And on the 6th, they're giving out school supplies. So just understand.
do you see a conflict with that? or-
No.
Okay. So the 3rd would be we good, Mayor?
Yeah, I'm just, yes, please confirm the dates.
3rd would be the primary date.
Okay.
And the 10th would be the rain date
Okay.
for Dr. William Henry Park, and we'll open it up to discussion with council.
So just,
Third is the Peach Festival, just making you aware.
3rd is the
Social calendar.
So there's the Peach Festival on the 3rd. But also, just so that you're aware that on the 6th, I also giving away backpacks for National Night Out. So if that's not a problem for you.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
And again, if she wanted to be a part of it, she can be a part of it.
Okay.
Would that make more sense, Chief, to have her there as one of the booths?
Only if she feels comfortable and wants to. But it definitely will have a lot more people than actually just trying to have people come.
Is that something you would be interested in?
I
Or
would
do you
like to
want
have mine separate.
Standalone?
Tell me, it talks about hot dogs, hamburgers, all this will be given away.
Yes.
There will be nothing sold.
No.
Nothing sold.
What I'll be giving away are the backpacks and school supplies. School supplies and food.
How many backpacks are you hoping to give away?
I'm hoping to give away about 200 to 300 backpacks maybe.
Good for you.
Ivy, is there anything in town on the 10th?
Pardon?
I'm sorry, is there anything scheduled on the 10th?
On the
Of August?
No.
during the day, it's the chamber music at the museum at 11 a.m. on the Worcester County Fair. So that's it.
Just maybe.
My only concern about the 3rd, and I think this is fantastic, really good, I'm just a little concerned about parking at the park. We do use that as like a foot parking. That's my only goal, just so you're aware of it, because this Beach Festival is a very successful event. People are typically parking is a shortage, so just want to just keep that in mind.
Can I ask a question?
They're at Henry
They're at
Park.
Henry Park.
They're at Henry Park.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
They won't be parking there.
You can ask your question.
So is the Peach Festival held downtown or is it going to be?
Yes, it's downtown.
Okay.
There's
If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve the backpacking school supply giveaway.
Primary date of the 3rd,
The 3rd,
rain date of the 10th.
second.
Thank you. So I have a motion by Councilmember Nur, second by Councilmember Orr. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, let the record reflect that motion 2024-29 passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you help get something together as far as sharing it on social media, we can always push that out on ours as well. I think it's a great resource.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Up next, item 4 on the agenda, Town Administrator's Report and Departmentals.
The main thing that I have is an invitation to next Thursday, June the 6th. Town Hall will be closed for our sort of semi-monthly team building luncheon from 12:30 to 1:30. And that will include economic development and planning department. Other than that, I don't really have anything.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mary or any of our department heads?
I just had the planning director job posting. What is the closing date on that? Or is it ongoing?
We listed that we would give preference to applications received by June 2nd. However, we would keep it open until we found the right fit for the position. So if the second doesn't have applicants that we wish to move forward with, we may extend it. So.
Thank you.
Have you been pleased with the response?
Not as many as I had hoped, but we have a handful, or so to select from. I believe we're up to 5 or so. Obviously I'd like to see more, but at that level, sometimes you're a little more limited in what you're going to receive. So we did post it anywhere and everywhere we could think of, including American Planning Association, MML. We sent it to some of the local schools to post, Facebook, LinkedIn. I don't know, probably missing some things there, but yeah, I'm hoping to get a couple more.
If anybody's interested, they can still apply.
Yep.
And then, Jimmy, did you have something?
Yes. At the memorial service on Sunday, I approached the Legion about 6 months ago and They committed to one flagpole at that time. On Sunday, they confirmed that they are interested in donating both flagpoles at the War Memorial. So we will, I will start getting prices to get the flagpoles, and hopefully within the next, say, 3 to 4 months, we'll get flagpoles here and revamp that area to have nice aluminum flagpoles that can hold bigger flags and represent that area. So we are moving forward with our flagpole.
Thank you, Jim. Good job. Great. Anything else for our department heads?
I just did have a question, make sure you're walking out the room, but I read in the previous week, I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago, the week before, mentioned multiple concerns about the business license increases. So I was wondering here how many we were talking about there, if there is a lot of folks that are reaching out with concerns about the increase or not.
I'm only aware of one directly. Melissa would really be the better, but
I haven't heard any, except for one that was an email from Councilmember Horace a couple of weeks ago. Other than that, there hasn't been any.
I do believe that Melissa
Jack was worried about his HVAC and construction companies got business off the ground.
I do believe that Melissa has received some calls, but once she explained the rates were increased.
Okay.
Yeah. Certainly nothing that she felt needed additional.
Okay. Great.
Anything else for departmentals? Chief, go ahead.
Just letting everyone know that we did go live with the speed cameras on today. On the 3 demo days, they actually were averaging 65 violations a day. Again, we've actually had opportunity to go ahead and look at the vehicles. We've made contact with the Worcester County Board of Education and other local partners. We spoke to all of our departments. So everyone knows it's actually going to be active, or is active today. And we're expecting, after citations are sent out, a dramatic decrease. So, again, we're not the first ones. All of our local municipalities have actual cameras except for Ocean City in the area, Wycomico, actually every municipality. So, again, we're following the trend, and we realize that technology is a force multiplier. And we can't be everywhere, but we can go ahead and start working on this one here. And then we're going to be at the schools at Flower Street and City Hall.
Thank you, Chief.
I think it's also worth noting that as with any law enforcement, fine-based enforcement, the goal is not to make money, it's to make the problem go away or stop. So hopefully this will be decreasing return.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with schools, you get a new cohort pretty much every year. So it's like, until that habit gets ingrained that they need to slow down.
Well, again, the teachers and everybody wanted to dump. We'll realize soon that.
You say everybody going to the dump?
Everybody going to the dump.
The speed cameras don't have much discretion.
No,
You know, I have always felt that there was speed violation on Flower Street, but to hear Arnold to put it in real numbers, averaging 65, could be averaging 65.
Violations 12 miles or over.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the threshold?
12 miles is significant.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Being able to quantify that really helps me a lot. So I just was paranoid. I was really seeing something that was actually happening, and now I can say that there were 65 average violations on Flower Street a day. And that is a lot of violations coming through my community. And it is hope that with the cameras going live, it's just like Murray said, it's not a thing about making money. It's having the speed limit complied with. And that's what we're looking to do. Slow these folks down.
Chief, is there a higher penalty for repeat offenders, or is it the standard $40?
And again, with technology, he just knows, so it doesn't go ahead and look at that. It's set by the state, so legislature says $40, can't go any higher, no changes. And we get roughly 26 out of that 40, and the other goes to the vendor.
It's
But,
also, sorry, it's also issued based on the vehicle's owner. So you don't really know who's driving.
Yeah.
But that's the owner's responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why that's still.
You can usually look at that camera shot and tell who's behind the wheel.
They do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate it. Tim, do you want to add anything about our internet coverage issues? Do you want to just brief everybody on the fact that we're in contact?
Yes, you're talking about the Comcast issue. Yes, in the downtown area, and other places, I'm sure throughout town, Comcast is experiencing some technical issues with some of the equipment that provides internet service to the town. They're working on it, trying to resolve the issue, and they work on it. They're trying to work on it during the hours when it's like midnight till 6 a.m. That way it doesn't impact businesses, residents, that type of thing. So hopefully they get it repaired as soon as possible.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
I've encouraged residents to call Comcast to give them credit. Because they should.
And keep reporting it.
Yeah, keep reporting.
Report the issue. I mean, we've been taking it up with our government affairs folks, but keep reporting the issue. Same thing with Verizon. Keep reporting the issue. I know that, we work extensively with trying to get some.
Harass them regularly.
Well, I wouldn't use harass, but we do talk to them on a regular basis.
Well, but
about the
it's
lapses
also
in service.
important to note, it is important to reach out directly to them.
Correct.
Posting on social media does not get to the people.
If you want to
vent on social
just
media,
make sure you
I
report
will.
it first. Use the first keyboard stroke to report it, second keyboard stroke can do the best.
And sometimes it is helpful just to say, hey, is anyone else having this problem? But Comcast is not reading your comments.
Right. A lot of businesses that have to close on Saturday or Memorial Day weekend, that's significant, so yeah.
If you know of individual businesses that did have to do that, can you please pass that along to me?
Sure.
It doesn't have to be right now, but just pass that along, because it's really good to reiterate that.
Sure.
And to piggyback on that, we had received, I can project. So to piggyback on that, we had received some complaints from some of the farmers market vendors about them, that they weren't able to use their squares. So I reached out to Tim, who reached out to the company that helps us with the Berlin public Wi-Fi, and realized that we didn't have enough access points downtown. So they are coming out within the next few weeks to increase our access points in the center of town where there were none. So on Pitt Street, on Commerce Street, I believe, there's a map. Pitt's and Commerce Street. So that should help with the folks downtown who need public Wi-Fi while they're outside. Does not work inside, it's only for outside. And that's the Berlin free public Wi-Fi.
For your comment about Square, with the farmers market, would that be cell service or is that Comcast?
I don't know.
Maybe they're not connected.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, some of them don't use Square, some of them use other applications.
But they're probably using their, if you could ask a little bit more closely so we make sure that we're passing that along to the correct entity. I have a feeling that's probably going to be a Verizon problem and not an Xfinity problem. But let's clarify that point.
Right. Just to note though that while what Ivy was just saying is correct and legitimate, it's not directly related to the Comcast issue. It's Comcast is out, the public Wi-Fi doesn't work, but the public Wi-Fi is not Comcast's. They're not providing.
Right, these are two completely separate, but since we were talking about downtown and Wi-Fi and Comcast and internet and everything that you can't see or touch, I just wanted to speak so the public will know that that's happening.
I just want to make sure I'm clear though, like you're offering the public Wi-Fi boost as a potential solution, right? That was not, people are not trying to rely on that for the payment processing.
No. Although,
I'm trying to get a sense of the problem.
right, I've heard from 3 different vendors, and one of them has Xfinity, one of them has Verizon, and they're,
Use the same
they said
backbone.
it needs to connect to Wi-Fi in order to work, and
So the Xfinity Mobile uses Verizon's backbone for their service. So that's why they probably had the issue there. But, so, trust me, I've learned more about cellular than I care to even know. But,
So the takeaway is call Comcast, call Verizon, and you're.
don't let you upset. As Steve said and Jay said, ask for credit.
So can someone explain to me the town's liability or the town's responsibility in this situation? Because some of those social postings were directly, specifically at the town of Berlin, and what is the town going to do and what is the town's responsibility?
They're not the town's responsibility. They are independent companies who operate on a franchise agreement with the town. But if you review that franchise agreement and recall some conversations that we had with the attorney who helped us through that, we have very little leverage. We got a franchise agreement that gave us the limits of what the law requires a cable company to give us, and that's about it.
Now with that
And
too.
that's under federal law.
And with that too, we realize that it's not a town utility. We don't really have a say in that service, but what we do collectively do is represent the 5,026 people and the businesses, over 270 of them in Berlin. With that, we use that to kind of hopefully amplify the reports that are already taking place. But it's important that those reports be logged at the customer level.
It's far
We
more
can-
effective for them to get 500 complaints from citizens than one complaint from the town.
And I mean, Sarah can vouch for it. We hit them every chance we get, up to the vice president of affairs. They don't like seeing our calls.
I just wanted to be clear that the town has no responsibility or liability associated with my cable company.
Correct. That's correct.
Are we only, could another franchise company come to town? Or are we
If
exclusive?
you wish to open that door, you can.
I'm just,
It is
I'm opening a door, I'm creaking the.
No, I completely understand, and I will tell you that historically, towns that have opened that door have found it to be favorable, but it's an incredible amount of work, and it takes very expensive lawyers to do it.
Well, as a matter of fact, our strategic plan says that we do want to look at potentially doing fiber optic internet at the municipal level. Now, then it would be a town utility.
Yes.
Then it would be town responsibility. Correct. But until then, we don't. But with that, Easton has had very good success with that service.
Very
So-
good customer service.
Very good customer service. So it is something that we have laid out as a pathway that does require some further exploration. All right, let's move on to comments from the public. Anyone that would like to address the mayor and council for public comment, may do so. Yes, just come forward if you don't mind, name and street name again.
Dan Smith. Okay, the speed camera on Flower Street. Did anybody say anything about Bay Street?
The gentleman that we need to talk to about the specifics of the study. I know the streets that we studied, but.
Unfortunately, Bay Street is not in the school zone area. It just reaches far enough to Flower Street, and we were blessed to go ahead and get that reach. And that is actually from Berlin Intermediate School to that point. So where that camera sits is probably the farthest we're going to get to the southeast portion of the town, so we'll never touch Bay Street, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. The reason why I was saying that because the dollars to our Uncle Willis children.
Definitely. And we'll be able to go ahead and put more resources towards that with more manpower we're going to be having in the next couple of months.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. address the mayor and council for public comment? Yes, ma'am. Just name and street name if you don't mind.
Saul Cornell, Maple Avenue.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to thank you and the memory of my sister-in-law, Annabelle Franklin, how she loved Shura, and I know she would love this. So I'm just so grateful for all that's being done, and it's just beautiful.
Thank you so much. One of the newest members of our Board of Supervisors elect. Yes, just name and street name or entity you represent.
Dave Fitzgerald, President of Fire Company, to talk about the speed cameras, but I want to give kudos to the police department for their more active enforcement of the fire lane in different places. And I know they've taken some brunt on Facebook, but I will let everybody know, you can look at the Fire Company Facebook page. We just had a fire that could have been very could have gotten out of control out there. A large pallet caught fire behind Concord Pet, already started up the wall, blacking the wall. And when those people are parked in front, us trying to get around the building, people laugh and joke about it. Councilmember Green and I see each other a few days a week at the local donut establishment. We're usually.
What's the flavor of choice? Come on.
It's donut day every Friday. I buy a dozen donuts for the guys at the firehouse, so I treat them every Friday. So we're usually in passing. He's got his son in tow, 100 mile an hour one way, I'm 100 the other way, and the cars are parked out front.
Hopefully not driving in front of those cameras.
We're on 2 days there, but I just give Chief Downing, thank you and your staff for doing that. I know your officers are using discretion and they take a brunt reading on social media, but just want to take the opportunity to thank the police for doing that and let the public know it's there for a safety thing. If you're parked in there and you're inside the building and our fire apparatus responds, it does delay how we set the vehicles up and how we can potentially put a connection to a fire hydrant to extend a fire hose. So again, it's other places in town. I encourage anybody who wants to ride with us. I always say the best time to come is ride around with us when we deliver Santa Claus around town and look at the cul-de-sacs that we can't turn around in, the fire hydrants that are blocked because of vehicles. That would be a good day to get educated because we travel every street, almost every street in town, and we see that. But we applaud them for doing that. And again, let the public know it's not them picking on somebody. It is a severe public safety issue that they're addressing. And we'll thank you for taking that initiative.
Thank you. Thanks. Is there anyone else that would like to address the mayor and council for public comment? You're not a member of the public. Go ahead.
While everyone's thinking about getting around town safely, I just wanted to remind you or to mention Bike to School on Thursday.
Please bike to school and please meet at Dr. William Henry Park.
It's
What
Buckingham
time?
Elementary School, Bike to School on Thursday morning, meeting at Henry Park at 8:15 and crossing over 113 together between 8:15 and 8:30, and we will have the police escort.
And if we have chaperones, it's greatly appreciated as well. So those, not just elementary, but elementary and Hart for just a little while can be participants as well.
And we'll be shooting video.
Yes, Jay will be live with his drone, and there will be others hopefully over at the intersection. So, be cool. All right, let's move on to comments from the council. Start with Vice President Burrell.
I don't know.
Okay, Councilmember Nur.
Just real quick, just want to say how much I enjoyed walking in the parade, Memorial Day parade yesterday with the mayor and my fellow councilmen. It was great to see so many residents out and everybody having a great time. Beautiful day. Really enjoyed it. Thank you all.
Thank you. Councilmember Wards.
Well, I'm going to echo Councilmember Nur's statement about the parade yesterday. It was awesome. I want to give a thank you to Ivy for addressing the email, the question about the business license. And I also want to thank Jimmy Charles and Ivy for quick response on the farmer's market two days ago now, because it's Tuesday, with putting up the barriers on Commerce. At the end there, I appreciate that. And then the only other thing I have, which I'm going to just bring up again in the spirit of pushing forward, I had emailed the group here earlier this year, and then again last week, the same thing. It's in front of everybody here, that I kind of was hoping to get an introspective, each of us can think of things about Heron Park, again, specifically parcel 57. And now that the budget is done, approved, signed, sealed, well, sealed and delivered per se, what better time to kind of look at it. So some of the questions here, now I wrote this way before demo even started, so some of it's not really applicable at this particular juncture. But really, questions 1, 2 are where I think we could take a few minutes to discuss kind of what we're thinking as a group so that we can move forward in some fashion with parcel 57 as the demo continues and eventually will be completed. So I think that this also ties in very well right now with the strategic plan, and specifically one of our community values of vibrancy, maybe a little bit of resiliency as well. And I think that just a discussion for this meeting is a good step forward. I had mentioned this before, but we had other things came up, but I think if we could take maybe just 10 minutes and bounce around some of the things here. I mean, question 1 was, do we even want to keep parts 57 or sell it? Question 2 is based on assuming selling is the preferred route. So I'm opening it up to the group. If there's any thoughts about what we want to do.
I don't want to keep it, but that's a conversation I think we'd like to have at the council. I'm open for discussion, whether it's tonight or a discussion item on the agenda. There was talk about demoing, getting it cleaned up, and then doing an RFP, which I don't support personally. But if we did some like an abridged RFP where it wouldn't take many months, that's just where I'm with it. But I don't know, as far as protocol, if we, how far did we go tonight? But I appreciate you bringing it up, whether or not it's a formal discussion item at our next meeting. Because if we don't do it next meeting, then we're to July, right?
Well, yeah, we only have one meeting next month. And so I just want to make sure Councilmember Green that you don't want to keep it, but you would prefer not to do it.
I would prefer not to do a full, I guess it's not, yeah, a full RFP that takes months. I know that's such RFPs are a lot on staff, and it takes a lot of time. We did do the RFP route already, and I think that took a lot of time. So yeah, you're correct. I would like for us to sell parcel 57. I've always wanted to do that, and I prefer to avoid a long RFP process that is painful like the last one.
I too would like to sell parcel 57, forward with the sale. And I don't believe we need to go through a full RFP process. I agree with that 100%. Whatever we can do to abridge that, would be fine by me.
Well, I think this topic is of such importance to the well-being of town Berlin that it deserves to be included on our agenda. I don't want to discuss this at this time in our meeting as a point brought up by one of the council members. And I appreciate you bringing it up because it is something that needs to be discussed. Jay and Steve talked about not going through the full RFP process, but I wonder how that would look and what it would be going forward if we don't take the time to go through this process again. One of the things that came out of our previous discussion is you don't know what you want. I wonder if we're there yet, because if we're going to sell this thing, it's going to be something there. The land is going to be utilized for something. And that facility was purchased so that the town would have control over what could go there and what is going to be there. Because some of you may remember the original tenants of that facility. It caused a lot of strife with the town of Berlin, with it being a chicken processing plant located within the incorporated limits of the town of Berlin. I would just like for us to give this discussion the time it needs. And I do believe it needs to be part of our upcoming agenda. And I would like to be able to move as soon as possible. So I'm suggesting that this discussion be part of our next meeting.
And can I put it? So Councilmember Orris had brought this up to me, I think, when about the time that it came out through email. And what I suggested, giving our last discussion on this, was that he actually do what he's doing now. And I think it's probably the best way to move forward, to kind of gauge everybody's willingness to want to proceed so that it's not a forced subject. Now with that, Dean, I think you're right. Having public involvement is definitely something we want. But I think where we maybe didn't do so great last time is framing that public discussion, right? So I think maybe we should work together instead of just having a blanket like discussion item. Let's kind of frame up what we would like to talk about so that we can actually put it out so that folks can provide good input back to us. And with that, I think what I'm hearing is that we don't want to kind of redo what we did last time, because I think if you keep doing the same things, you keep getting the same results. But what we did vote to do, majority of the council, is suspend negotiations with an entity that went through the public RFP process. I don't see why we couldn't vote again to reopen that discussion if that entity was willing to engage in those conversations. Throwing it out as a potential
I would have to
option.
review the minutes. I'm
Yeah.
not sure that that negotiation was considered suspended or terminated.
Okay.
And I would have to.
So then we can look at that.
Find out.
So we're talking about going through the same discussions with an individual we have already had in-depth discussions with.
I'm throwing it out as a not going through the RFP process is what I'm hearing.
If not going through the RFP process means we bring in someone that we have had in-depth discussions with about this endeavor, I would not be in favor of that. I would totally oppose that, because I don't know what else can be said unless there is some information being provided that I don't have access to. But where I sit today, I would not be interested in any further discussions with those individuals we have already had in-depth discussions with, unless there was a new proposal related to new conditions that we as a council decide we would like to look at.
I will add that I do not believe you have to go through a formal RFP process to sell parking thing.
We don't, I asked town attorney Dave Nash
You
that.
do have to at some point declare it a surplus property and.
Which we've done already.
Right. But as to the rest of it, and the particular terminology escapes me at the moment. I want to say it might be a deed restriction, in which you determine exactly what things you want to occur or do not want to occur, and you sell the property with those restrictions. I have zero idea what the legal process for that is, nor what the effect on potential buyers' willingness to proceed would be. But I would agree with Councilmember Green. I do not believe that you have to go through a formal RFP process.
Can we frame up?
How it would proceed, I'm not sure.
Can we frame up some kind of like some of the ideas where folks maybe, do you have any ideas about like what an agreement would look like?
Well, I mean, I think that.
Or what you have outlined in here?
Well, I think that this kind of addressed what we talked about. I mean, I think that, in my opinion, the 2 years that we spent on this was very telling, and we had community input, and we had work sessions, we had public hearings, we had public comments, plus what we had up here. And I think that if we kind of look at those concerns and what it was, that would help frame, essentially that's, what is Berlin worthy? That's, I mean, that's number 2. I know everyone can't see this, but that's number 2 and number 4. And, you know, at the time, those were concerns that this group had. And I think that if, like, I mean, I agree with Councilmember VP Burrell. I mean, if we're putting this back out there, I mean, I'm sure people are watching, but we're still talking about this, and things have changed. I don't think we should necessarily proverbially close the door on anything.
The 2 issues I had last time, and one I shared with Dean was that whatever goes in there doesn't compete with downtown businesses. So that's the discussion point we should talk about. The other one I had was a compromise on the EDUs. I think that's a discussion point we should talk about. If we can come to terms with a potential buyer on those, and maybe there's others that we may share, then we should engage whoever's interested.
Now, is there an idea of what an acceptable amount of EDUs would be?
Well, we know we have to transfer some to either the state park and public works. I don't know how many that is, whether it's 2, 5.
I would say whatever we don't want to go with the sale should be transferred. And then, so whatever that number is, we kind of gotta, I think we should define that. And then if there's an additional need, maybe said buyer would buy those additional EDUs.
So if we transfer some, and then maybe maybe several on 50% of what's the sale.
We're not making it even, like, so you're saying, I think there's 36, Jack, you say here? I honestly, I can't. And there's sewer only.
Yeah,
they're
Correct, that is correct.
There are there's 36 sewer only. So if we move, well, I think we move 6, 3 on 3, that's 30. We could put 15 back in our stock, and 15 goes with.
So 15 sewer EDUs? Is there some consensus on that? I'd like to frame up a discussion.
I don't think sitting here this evening, we can frame anything because we don't have the information we need. First of all, we would need just what's going to be needed, the plan for the skate park. What will be needed? What will be needed for public works? We don't know what is actually there. We don't know.
But we've been told in the past it's a minimum.
And the skate park would need none. I mean, it's a park service, but that would probably be for the park itself.
And we've talked about public restrooms possibly being
Part of the
added on the Public Works building in such a way that they can only get to
Like town hall.
restrooms, not to anything else, that sort of thing. There's a lot of moving pieces on this.
But 36 is not we will not exceed even 7 probably EDUs. And that's on the sky-high side.
I wouldn't think so.
I mean,
Of course,
it's
EDUs are
mostly-
based on usage,
Right.
But we need to have that number provided to us by someone that knows.
But I just wanted to share my concerns of where I want to see this sale go.
And to sit here and just say, well, we might need 7.
But we won't honestly have that number either until we have the plans drawn, because until you have the plans drawn, you can't definitively say.
But I would prefer taking that possible number from someone with the background knowledge to be able to estimate those numbers. And instead of us sitting here as laymen saying, well, I think this, well, I think that. And about what Steve and Jay have suggested with the limited RFP development and that kind of stuff. I just want this thing to allow us to view as many possibilities as possible, or from those folks that would be interested. I know it was a guy came in here that talked about housing, and his ideals wasn't even entertained by this body. And if that means that's how we're gonna proceed with just one pot in the fire, I'm really not for that, fellas. I'm really not for that.
So I'm struggling to understand how the discussion would go. When we advertise this as a Heron Park re-explore the sale public discussion, how do you envision that going without providing any framework of that?
Well, what I would suggest is that we can ask for those interested in presenting a proposal to do so. And that would even include folks we have talked to before.
So it's more of a call for all interested parties. Should we set an asking price?
Well, we already know what that is. That's the 1.2.
Well, that's what, no, well, we don't know that to be true.
Well,
Is
Now that the building has
there
been demolished,
consensus
that
on?
appraisal is gonna change.
Well, but the appraisal.
Assuming it's done.
Right, but the appraisal was based on the property being cleared anyway.
Right, but
So-
we are not gonna get it to the cleared stage.
So what are we asking?
With
I
the
think,
$500,000 grant, we will not get it cleared down to the ground. We've discussed that all along. There will be.
it could be misleading to allow folks that, we've received offers as low as 100,000 and as high as 1.2. I'm just trying to kind of give some guidance to folks that maybe in the 100,000 ballpark, that we're not really interested in that asking price. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
We've received one offer for Heron Park back in the day, it was $100,000.
Well,
We said no, thank you.
Originally, 57 was $800,000 appraised, in fact, I think it was residential. So then we spent X amount of dollars to get it reappraised at commercial, and it jumped up $400,000. 1.2. We sat here and we had the discussion with the appraisers that they based it on it being clear, which it was not, it is not, and they did not take into account EDUs. In my mind, we're at 1.2. That's just me.
Where's everybody else?
Yeah, I think the conversation starts at 1.2.
Agreed.
Agreed starts at 1.2.
Okay, well, we're getting somewhere, folks. $1.2 million, are we only talking about parcel 57?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, we've got 2 points. Now, there's no cap somebody's willing to put, especially you were hard on the EDU train. Where are you? 15 reasonable?
15, very reasonable.
Okay. So we're at approximately 15 EDUs, parcel 57 only, $1.2 million asking price. Present anybody that's willing with those terms, come before, we'll allow what, 15 minutes per presentation? Is that okay? I mean, we should cap it in case we have like 20 of them. It should be an all-night show.
Oh, two.
And non-compete with them.
Correct. It does not compete with downtown, with Berlin businesses. I should put downtown. Downtown businesses.
I think.
15 minutes?
I think, okay, I was gonna say 7, but.
Let's do 15. 15-minute presentation in public. In public.
And this is really a call of interest.
With a lead behind, so we can at least muddle it, right?
I do believe that at some point, you as a group need to reach a consensus about what you're willing or not willing to even consider.
Right, and if I may, I don't want to speak for the whole group. Those points there that we're kind of setting now seem to be.
I think we're getting there.
What we're looking at.
Potential middle ground.
Right.
Can we box in, does not compete with Berlin businesses or downtown businesses? Can we box that in any further?
I think you need to, because you are 5 people who can have very different ideas of what that means.
So that you have to add restaurants.
So no to restaurants, right? No restaurants.
No retail.
Retail.
No retail.
Again, no retail is so broad. What if it was an auto parts store? Just throw that out as
No
a-
retail currently housed in our downtown.
But I don't want to, I mean, we're putting on a restriction, I don't want to put a preference, but I can say that before, I believe that the area is in desperate need of youth and adult mental health services. So I personally would not be opposed to creating something with offices.
So healthcare related?
Yeah.
Open to healthcare related?
That's me, I mean, I'm not speaking for the.
Open to healthcare.
And Franklin Avenue has vacancies there. That's true.
All right. So open to healthcare, not open to healthcare? Strike healthcare? David?
Why not close the net? I mean.
Okay. So no, so what I have so far, parcel 57 only, approximately 15 EDUs, sewer only, should be noted. Sewer only. Asking price of at least $1.2 million. Does not compete with downtown businesses, no restaurants, no retail that are currently offered downtown, and open to healthcare and other things. Anything else that we want to say we're open to? Okay, 15-minute presentation in public with a leave behind, and they would be willing to present their proposal.
Healthcare and general office space.
General office. Space. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I was just, that was actually one of the things that was tossed around before.
Gym, warehouse.
Open to healthcare, general office, gym,
If I may.
housing.
Entertainment venue, how does that fit in? Entertainment venue,
Like what? What are you thinking?
like a Freeman stage or something to that effect.
Okay. Entertainment venue?
Just, I didn't know what you thought about that.
Like a concert hall.
And or, well, it could not be concerts or something like
You're
that.
talking
yeah.
open air or closed?
Either. It would most likely be closed, because then you get the whole year. Just, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just throwing that out there from some rumblings that I've heard.
Okay. Anything else? For the good of the order, go ahead, Natalie.
Not to suggest what to put there, but just to bring to attention, first of all, is there an urgency or need to sell that property right now? We're just acquiring this huge amount of money to build public works with infrastructure going underneath the ground and electricity going there.
So potentially at later on terms, if the decision is on the table to sell, that property will have a lot more value than today.
That's a very
That's
good
my
point.
point.
We are going to do that work because
Yes.
we need to do it for
So
public
whoever is
works.
going to be interested today will see the potential, what's going to be for the future of the public works and how the right side will be developed potentially from the left side, what is it right now?
So now taking that into
That's
consideration, does that
just-
change anybody's openness to a conversation?
What
So
is
when
the
you say
need
we
today
put
to
in-
sell this property?
You put in the utilities, that means we put in the road bed?
I don't know about the road. I know that the Public Works will carry the water sewer infrastructure under the ground to accommodate the restrooms and public restrooms potentially. Also, the electricity will go there. That was part of the discussion in the bond.
And I would say that the road would be pretty good. We're not going to put utilities in only to serve a public works building, because we know that we're going to have all this vacant land that we're going to do something with. So when we put the utilities in, it's going to be done in such a way that we can add on to it later. It just makes sense. Rather than doing it with very narrow focus, you do it with a broader focus. And to Natalie's
at that
point, that
point-
will increase the value.
What is the timeline for?
We're moving forward with RFP for Public Works, so I would say that.
Well, we have to meet with
Well,
the design
yes.
folks, but
Yes.
it's going to move quickly.
My drawer design
Yeah,
for the bond was, we have to expense that in within 3 years. So 3 years at a time frame, we have to take all of the monies out of the bond and put it in Public Works. Just a rough idea, is 3 years. So whether it's going to take 2 years, great. If it's going to take a year, that's even better. But at that point, you will see a better picture of how many EUs you will need, what you have left, and whom you can accommodate on the left side beside the Public Works. It's just, I'm thinking about future.
We've also made the point that the sale of this parcel will not satisfy the debt.
No.
So we will still be maintaining or making payments.
And we're not
So you're
talking
not
about
gonna
new
gain a
debt,
whole
we're talking
lot
about the
by
debt
moving quickly.
existent on the Heron Park debt, the old debt. That's why I'm bringing, what is the urgency and need to decide the asking price and move forward with the sale? That might.
I would agree, this is a very valuable conversation to have. And you can have it now and sort of have that plan set. But to Natalie's point, I do think that we would be doing ourselves a disservice.
But I thought the
To move
intent
too quickly.
of doing the demo and clearing the ground at places we took down was to prepare it for sale.
It is, absolutely. And you can certainly proceed at this point. But I think you will have added value if you wait until we've done some of that utility infrastructure that we know we're going to do for the public works facilities.
But if we're gonna do that, which we're gonna do anyway, whoever gets the property in the end is still gonna have to pay to do the connections.
Yes,
Yes,
but you will
right.
have to do reappraisal of the whole entire area to see what's the value at that point.
Right.
Natalie's saying, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that once the improvements are made to one side of the road, that it may add value to the other side of the road? Is that-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Valid point. And to Jay's point, the grant does say that the goal is to spark economic development and commerce in that area, but it doesn't say that, define a point of time at which it has to be done. We are working toward that, obviously, but it does not say specifically must be done within X period of time.
And the 1.2 will not retard the debt, and we will still have these payments that have to be made.
Yes.
Regardless of if we sell now at 1.2, or if we hold on to this land, to this property just a while longer and have its value grow. And these developments are being done by way of bond.
The public works improvements will be covered by the current bond.
By the current bond.
Yes.
The process we just,
What is the urgency to sell this property?
I'd like to see that property improved. That property is an embarrassment to the town of Berlin.
It's very valid.
Been across from that property. I mean, look at it today. I mean, what we have allowed that property to become. So what's in it for us? To improve that property once and for all. You know, there's been no deal that's ever been proposed for this that would have retired the debt. That was, you know.
Yes, it was.
That was not true.
Yes, it was.
That property was not.
Yes, it was.
That
The
property.
man that came in here and talked about building homes on that property for $250,000 said that he was willing to purchase that property at a price that would retire our debt.
The town of Berlin would have had to demo that, if you recall. I was on the council at the time, but that is accurate. That is accurate.
This guy just came in, he came in the same time we were talking to,
Yeah, Natali Communities.
to Palmer.
Right, Natali Communities, I remember correctly.
I think.
But your answer, what's the rush? My rush is to improve the town of Berlin. I actually have never understood the no downtown competition, frankly. I have a property for lease right now. I am not considering downtown competition. I am not. We are looking to, it's a business decision. I want the best property tenants for our property. And downtown competition, I'm sorry, that is not at the forefront of my mind. I want us to have good tenants that will help the town of Berlin. But I get the point, and that's a middle ground for this body, that we don't want to, no R's, the 3 R's, right? But to answer the question you asked, what's the rush? The rush is to get something on that property that the town of Berlin can remotely be proud of. I'm not really actually buying the idea that the value could go up 3 years from now. Frankly, I'm not 100% certain that that's a fact. But I don't think it hurts to go through, to hear from others about it. But you asked what's the rush? The rush is to finally improve this property and not leave it like a bombshell.
Natalie, if we did sell it for 1.2, some of that money would go towards the debt service.
Well, I'm hoping all of the money for 1.2 will go towards the debt service. It will reduce the debt,
But there may
obviously.
be
It
some
will not
residual
close
costs,
it completely. So if the Russian discussion, I would suggest you will retire by the asking price for that. So ask the price that will retire the debt.
It's a
we're not.
point that I like to make because it persists in conversation on social media, et cetera, that the town will sell the property and pay off the debt, and that will not happen.
Well, I've always, hold on one second. I've always
At the
said
levels that exist now.
I've always said that I think that the taxpayers of Berlin, which we are all taxpayers of Berlin, have a stake in the fact that, to Dean, your point, a say in what goes there. I see it more as a say of what does not go there. An industrial processing facility is not something we want. I lived on Grice Street during the time the factory was open. I felt the pain of that. So I think that was a premium we paid for the acquisition. I think, too, the premium that we pay is that we wanted that passive use section of the park, which we are keeping a park. And I think we're getting a public works facility. I think we're going to get an amenity, hopefully a skate park. It still keeps a portion of 410 open for future development. It still keeps some areas, 191 is probably going to be a blended parcel, probably not capable of being used any further. But I see and I hear your point, Natalie, but I also hear Steve in the sense that we don't know what that looks like with our time frame. There are a lot of unknowns. What we do know is that it does not look good. We do know that we have to do something with that building, whether it's shore it up, whether it's try to find a tenant for it in the time being, or whether it's to sell it. We know that we're at that point, kind of, where those shells that look like part of a war zone will need to look cleaned up. And what's that cleaned up look like? And what's the occupancy going to be? Because I don't want graffiti. I don't want mattresses there. I don't want that again. Yeah, I don't want that. So what's the alternative? And we kind of got to figure that out together. If it's not selling it, it's how do we put it back together in a way that is tangible.
One thing, selling it puts it back on the tax rolls.
Correct. I agree.
That's a positive for Berlin. Number two, when we went through that entire RFP process, we had 2 prospects. 2, that's pathetic. So the fact that this might bring up a few more, I don't know, hopefully it would, but it may not, you know? There's not a lot of people willing to invest that kind of money in a property like that. So if we can get it on the, put it up for sale, move it forward, I think we should.
Mayor, just one more suggestion. I mean, it's been a while, and this property, being with the Berlin in the state it is an eyesore for so long. Now we have a time frame of about 3 years to develop the right side of the property into the public works facility. Hopefully it will be outstanding and beautiful. I would suggest just start with the public involvement again. Have a public meeting for all from the town of Berlin to attend, and just listen again to people, what in consideration that is going to happen within the next 3 years for the public works services and skate park, and something else would come up. What people would like to see, do they want to sell it today? They're tired of looking, or they can wait for another 3 years or a year or so, and what they would like to see on the left side.
So how about we frame it up as, the first item would be, so we've got a pretty stacked agenda, don't we, Mayor?
We do have a very full agenda for the.
If we front load that for June, if we had presentations from interested parties followed by a public comment period, is that going to jam us up too much? I don't know all the items off the top of my head.
I don't even know off the top of my head.
Can we do a session at 6?
Okay.
Do you want to do a work session?
Or can we start the meeting at 6?
Why don't we start the meeting at 6?
Meeting at 6.
Yeah, let's start the meeting at 6.
I mean, I think it does deserve time. I mean, I wasn't trying to.
Well, and that's my concern, is jamming it in with an already full meeting, is it?
Well, we'll start the meeting at 6, put this up front. Prospective people get, what do you say, Mayor, 15 minutes?
15 minutes for every interested party. And then
back to if we want.
The first question we want to ask them, though, when they sit down, who are you? Do you understand that the asking price is $1.2 million? And if they say, that doesn't work, thank you, but that doesn't work.
Okay. Well,
you know what I mean?
Logistics.
Yeah.
The meeting packet has to go out next week.
Wednesday, yep.
How are you going to reach out to prospective?
I'm always the guy that wants to hurry, but I mean, could we wait until July?
I feel like you would do better to have a conversation and set some guidelines amongst yourselves first.
I don't want to push the can out there, but it sounded like it is starting to get a little time, so we meet 2 weeks from yesterday.
And what I would like to do too is that in addition,
because we don't have
in addition, I think out of respect for those that have submitted in the past, I'd like to reach out to Nutella. I'd like to reach out to Coastal Ventures. I think Jack Burbidge sent in a presentation before. Those are the 3 that come to my mind that submitted during that time frame. Is there anybody else that comes to mind that I'm overlooking? I think they should, since they had consideration in the first wave, I think it'd be respectful to reach out to them and say, this is what we're looking at. You agree? All right, so are we for June or are we for July? I'm open to either. Jack's buying dinner.
Pizza forever.
First July meeting.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know June's gonna be stacked, so bring your marathon pants, but.
Bradley, I'm willing to do the hour, start an hour early. If the group doesn't think that's enough time, that's a month. I mean, that it is what it is. And what I was going to say in the meantime, if we can, if the group wanted to filter ideas out and just email them, I'm willing to collect them for everybody, email or whatever. But it's up to the group. If you think that the first meeting in June is too much, even with the extra hour, I do believe it is worthy of discussion time. So,
Many executive items, I don't think they come to my mind. And Gaskell's not here tonight because it's his birthday. I know he's watching with bated breath. Happy birthday, David.
Well, okay, let me get this started. So are we going to have an executive because of the planning director job?
Nope, it won't be at that point yet. No. It will not be at that point.
Let's do the hour early.
Yeah, I'm down. Okay. So the first item would be the approval of the consent agenda. The second item would be presentations of interested parties. Third item would be public comment regarding the presentations of interested parties. We should have it all in the same time, I think. That way it's fresh, it's there.
It's out, and we can get it.
Yep, and then we'll move on with our other items.
Will we be able to post a picture of what's left on this property?
Yeah, I think what we could do is probably do the weekly reports that we get.
We do
Maybe
have
put the most recent.
We do have a need for a closed session.
Oh, we do?
We do.
Okay. See y'all at 5:30? 5:30, what do you think? Can't recall what the item is.
5:30.
5:30. See y'all at 5:30? Dean, you good, bud?
Did you say July?
I'm fine with either, as long as if it's not, can't be June and July. I was fine with July, but I would, really was kind of looking at the administration to let us know what their feelings were as far as this.
The meeting will be stacked.
It will be stacked, and I really feel that you are not giving yourselves enough time to prepare to have a good, fruitful conversation with potential buyers.
And we're asking them to kind of come up with their pitch and leave behind materials. I think as badly as I would like to not drag the thing further,
So let's,
I think the quality, to Mary's point, will
can we
improve.
move to July?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you be in favor of moving to July? That's what it takes, yeah. July?
Yeah, I was just trying to see what the date was.
July, Steve?
I'm fine.
So that's July 8th.
Everything and something more.
Is anybody going away for the 4th of July holiday vacation?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, okay.
Jack's locked us in. So we're talking about July 8th, right?
Yes.
There's only one meeting in June.
Yeah. And the other part is that the reason that July might be better is if we have a good discussion on the 10th. A lot changes in a month as far as what we recall, what was said. It'd be nice to have one, and then 2 weeks later, if we can, have a subsequent.
So then what are we doing on the 10th? We're just saying everything that we just talked about?
I think it was using that just as a hypothetical.
Like,
I'm saying if
oh, okay.
came with the 10th.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know where.
I think you were just referring to it as like a hypothetical, like if people came in on the 10th and then we had a long break. I thought.
Yeah, I'm saying, if people come and make presentations and we're like, these are our points now.
Oh, but a month later.
And then a month later, we're like, oh, were those really our points? I'd rather it be fresh on everybody's mind. I think that's what kind of got us the last time.
So
It took
July
so long. 8th would be this thing that we've mocked up, and then subsequent action points would be the 22nd.
So just for clarity,
Yeah.
on June 10th, we do need to have a closed session, but we're planning a normal meeting time.
6:30.
Closed session, 7 p.m. regular.
So, right.
July 8th, are you still interested in?
Let's keep the meeting light,
Okay,
because now it's at the point where we can.
let's just do that.
But we do have some flexibility on it.
Yes.
I mean, generally speaking, we'll hit the high priority items for the 8th, but we'll keep it lighter and then focus really heavily on this presentation
So
side.
do you want to examine whether to start the meeting early or regular time?
At that time, once we kind of have a mock-up, but I'd really like to start it at 7.
Well, I think also if we get a deluge of designs, that would also.
And we may have the executive session on the 8th, probably, for a planning director.
That's true.
So I think that we should kind of do
That's
that.
true.
All right. Okay. So let's summarize our points before we all go home.
I still have my comment.
Oh, no, you don't. You
Wait,
get
it's-
them up.
I just want to say quick thank you. Jeez.
Yes, but hold on. Let me just make sure I've got the points summarized. 57 only, Number of EDUs, approximately 15, sewer only. Asking price, at least $1.2 million. Does not compete with downtown businesses, no restaurants, no retail currently offered downtown. Open to healthcare, general office space, gyms, housing, and entertainment venues, and other things. 15-minute presentation in public with a leave behind on the first meeting in July to present proposals. And then I had a note about what is the urgency to sell, which I think is important, and we should still have that as a front and center item for consideration, so we'll put it on there. Anything I've missed? Okay. Jack, you may offer your thank you, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, I just thank you all for entertaining the discussion. I think it's important, like I said, like we all agree, we got it going, and I'm satisfied that we're doing something about it. So thank you all.
Thank you. Councilmember Green?
I'm going to be short and sweet. So, I've tried hard in this capacity not to blend my professional and duties up here, but we have a person that's in the back that I'm going to talk about briefly. So Charlene is leaving the newspaper industry and taking a new position with Worcester County, and very happy for her. But it's bittersweet for most of us, I think, that have worked with her. I've worked with her for the last 10 years. I mean, she's family. She knows what I feel, how I feel about her. She's the resident introvert back there, so I know she hates this. But you know, she was at the Flower Street at the parade with Ava. Gonna miss seeing her. Hopefully, she'll still have her camera with her. And you know, I think that it's special for someone like Charlene. And you know, she grew up here. She reported on her hometown. She was with us 10 years with another media outlet prior to that. But I think that anybody that I've talked to that talks about her, they say how fair she is, and she can be trusted. And I think as newspaper people, that's the biggest compliment you can really get. So we're going to miss Charlene very much personally, but and professionally. But I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that, and I think you know, looking forward to seeing her in different pastures, but just want to make sure everyone knew that Charlene will not be with us anymore, but I'm very grateful for everything she's done.
We're going to miss you, Charlene.
Godspeed.
Yeah.
Good luck, Charlene.
Who's going to ask me if there's anything else I want to ask? Still might call you out of habit.
So are you just gonna come for fun now?
So watch it later.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Charlene. Thank you, Steve. All right, so then up next, comments from the mayor. The only thing I want to say is thank you to all of our staff and to the BCIA, especially to the Public Works Department and Chief of Police for a great Memorial Day service at the War Memorial, and then also a great Memorial Day parade on Flower Street. Phenomenal work. I know that there's a lot that goes into it. Even though the BCIA is the community partner, there's still a lot of staff time that goes into that as well. So thank you all so much. It was a pleasure. All right, up next, comments from the press. Charlene, you got to ask at least one question. That's the rule. We're not going to close the meeting until you ask one question. We'll ask Mary Hedlesky first, and then we'll come back to you. Anything? Hey, ask something. Give her a moment.
Well, I can just ask my usual, is there anything else I should be asking about tonight?
Yes, well, to be continued. Thank you, Charlie. All right, anything else from the press? All right.
Move to adjourn.
Second. We already did public, but we forgot about it because it took so long. So I've got, we got one more. Hold on. Do you want to be pressed today?
No, I just want to say on the Heron Park project, if we can somehow not exclude a skate shop in the parameters of that area.
It doesn't compete with anything, don't worry.
Exactly. That would be prudent, I think. And last thing on that is, although I think public input is great, but I think we should have some public input. Analysis paralysis is a real thing. If we go too far down that path that we've already gone down, it'll just elicit probably the same results. So I think you guys are all elected to do your jobs, and I think you guys are all capable of sort of taking the input that you've already taken in on this project and move forward with the best intentions. Thank you.
Vice President Burrell?
Move to adjourn.
All in favor? Thank you. I mean, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do. It's your copy. I mean, I would give you a reminder or